Okay, in this example, we're going to identify what type of sampling is being used. So let's go ahead and take a look at number 1. On the day of the last presidential election, ABC News organized an exit poll in which specific polling stations were randomly selected and all voters were surveyed as they left the premises. So let's think about this. ABC News organized an exit poll in which specific polling stations were randomly selected and all voters were surveyed as they left the premises. So they're making these polling stations groups and selecting specific polling stations. Does it say they're selecting all polling stations? No. Specific polling stations, and then all voters at that polling station are being surveyed. That means this is a cluster type sampling. Okay, number 2. In a Pew Research Center poll, 1,007 adults were called after their telephone numbers were randomly generated by a computer. It has the word randomly generated in it. Anytime a computer is used to randomly generate numbers, we are going to call this random sampling. So let's write down the word random on that one. Number 3, the CBS news station in New York City often obtains opinions by interviewing neighbors of a person who is the focus of a news story. So they're kind of taking the easy way out, right? They're interviewing the neighbors instead of possibly finding where that person works or what kind of hobbies they have, interviewing people from their hobbies. They're just going next door. So they're taking the easy way out, and this is convenient sampling. Number 4, a market researcher has partitioned all California residents in the categories of unemployed, employed full-time, and unemployed part-time. She is surveying 50 people from each category. Okay, so again, we have groups here: unemployed, full-time, part-time. And then surveying 50 from each group. That makes this stratified sampling. So that number 4 is stratified. Number 5, in order to test customer satisfaction, a local car dealership surveys every 10th customer. So in order to test customer satisfaction, they survey every 10th. Anytime you have every 10th, every 100th, 50th, anything like that, that's going to be systematic sampling. And before I close here, I want to draw you some pictures of cluster and stratified. So let's think of entire populations. This is cluster and stratified that we're going to compare, okay? That circle represents the entire population. If we want to do cluster or stratified sampling, we place them in groups. So I'm going to draw what looks like a little tic-tac-toe symbol inside each circle. And those are going to be my groups. Okay? Now with cluster sampling, I then take whole clusters, everyone in a cluster, and I sample those people. Okay, so maybe I choose those 3 clusters. Those are the 3 that I sample. With stratified sampling, once I have them grouped or in my strata, I take some people from each group. Okay, so I hope that little comparison helps you understand the difference between cluster and stratified.